They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it anymore.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
The cameras were meant to catch another royal fairy tale moment, clean and glossy, ready for headlines. Instead, they locked onto something heavier, something tense, something clearly off. The vibe flipped fast, and you could feel it even through a screen. And when Prince Harry stepped out of the black SUV in New York, his face told the story before anyone spoke. His eyes were tight, jaw clenched, shoulders stiff like he was holding back a storm. This wasn't calm silence. This was pressure, the kind that builds right before someone snaps under flashing lights. For Meghan, it looked like routine mode kicked in. The smile switched on like stage lights, polished, practiced, flawless on cue. She played the part perfectly, but the contrast was loud.
I know my latest money-making scheme is going to be cosplaying the final night that Princess Diana died. It's truly sick. He just doesn't seem to give a damn.
The gap between them hit instantly, sharp enough to make people uneasy. One wrong move, one wrong breath, and the whole thing could have blown up. Then the crowd broke through the noise. Someone yelled, "Stop using our offspring!" and the energy cracked wide open. That was the second everything shifted. Harry's head snapped toward the sound, anger flashing across his face for a split second. He turned away fast, but not before grabbing Meghan's arm. Not gentle, not loving, just urgent and sharp, like someone trying to escape the moment. His lips moved, but no one heard the words. All you could hear was tension as cameras kept popping non-stop. Reporters shouted their names, but the fairy tale was already breaking apart. Those smiles weren't warm or romantic. They were survival smiles.
Body language. My God, no amount of PR spin is going to deal with that.
You completely see that she is shaken by this.
The kind you wear when things are falling apart and you know the whole world is watching. From that moment on, nothing felt staged or smooth. The prince who once pushed back against the palace now looked like a man trying to protect himself. From the pressure, from the cameras, from whatever went wrong behind closed doors. They walked the red carpet side by side, but every step stretched the invisible distance between them. What the public saw as glam, insiders quietly called a silent war. Each flash carried the same question. What flipped devotion into frustration and turned a fairy tale into friction? New York City buzzed that night with sirens, flashing lenses, and sky-high expectations. This was supposed to be a comeback moment, the Duke and Duchess reclaiming their shine.
Maybe he is still very upset over her stunt over in Paris. I can't imagine that that didn't go unnoticed by him.
The venue glowed in gold, carefully designed to scream rebirth. But people inside say the energy felt wrong from the jump. Staff whispered about a heated exchange inside the SUV just moments before arrival. One security insider said Harry's face was ice cold, no emotion, no warmth. Meghan, according to that same source, sat stiff, fixing her earrings in the window reflection and never once looking his way. When the doors opened, every camera in Manhattan was locked on them. Producers had planned a clean entrance, one pace, one smile, one image. But something went sideways fast. Harry broke formation.
See her face. You get here, mate. But on stage, when they knew everyone was filming on their mobile phones and taking pictures, it got even worse.
He stepped ahead of Meghan, walking faster, eyes glued to the carpet instead of the crowd. That wasn't confidence. Ow, that was distance. And insiders say this wasn't new behavior. Weeks earlier, at a private industry dinner, Meghan reportedly reached for Harry's hand. He pulled away under the table, whispering something short and sharp. One witness said that moment marked when the warmth drained from the royal dynamic completely. PR analysts and body language experts all landed on the same conclusion. Something broke long before that tense night in New York. What happened at the award gala wasn't just an awkward moment caught on camera, it was the public exposure of a private breakdown that had already been brewing.
The simmering tension between the duplicitous Duke and his facelift-enhanced wife. Here's the red carpet arrival.
Hey, Harry, what are you doing today?
Insiders agree on one thing, but they argue about the cause. Some point fingers at fame, others at pressure, others at control, but everyone agrees the fracture was already there. One source close to Harry says the real breaking point didn't even start in America. According to them, it began in Paris, quietly, behind the scenes, far from the public eye. To the world, Paris looked like a win. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepped onto the red carpet looking polished, powerful, and united, as flashes exploded around them. For weeks, tabloids hyped the appearance as their big reset moment, the night they would flip the script and reclaim the narrative. Every detail was mapped out.
And then you see her naked feet crisscrossed in front of her, like the world is at my feet. Ha ha ha, this is so fun. This is where my children's grandmother died. Good times. Let me put this on.
The outfits, the walk, the smiles. Meghan shimmered in metallic gold, every movement intentional, every glance aimed straight at the lens. Harry followed in a classic tux, nodding toward fans behind the barricades. On paper, it was strength and resilience. The exiled royals turned global figures, but the illusion cracked almost instantly. When the first wave of flashes hit, the tension leaked through the shine. Even viewers watching live streams could sense it. Harry's face didn't match Meghan's energy. He wasn't smiling, he was enduring. A tight exhale slipped out, subtle but telling. While Meghan waved smoothly, strain flickered across his expression, the kind no media training can fully hide.
Especially when he's on the BBC saying that it's not safe enough for my family in the UK, but it's safe enough for Meghan to be alone in Paris, literally engaging with the paparazzi, you say.
Then the chaos split wide open. A single voice cut through the noise, sharp and unfiltered. Stop using our offspring! Everything froze. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Cameras caught the exact moment the air changed. Meghan's smile stiffened. Harry's jaw locked, eyes snapping toward the heckler before darting to the entrance doors. This wasn't shock, it looked like recognition. Like those words hit a nerve that had already been exposed behind closed doors. Moments later, Harry reached for Meghan's arm. Not affectionate, not supportive, urgent. The same move cameras later brushed off as guidance was described by a nearby photographer as a signal.
Have you ever seen that video? No. Pull that video up.
Harry's speech was so lackluster, Tash. As you say, I think he's furious about what went on in Paris, but they couldn't cancel this event.
The warmth was gone, replaced by quiet control and a need to move fast. From that second on, the night unraveled in silence. They hit their marks. Applause, laughter, poses, but the connection was gone. To casual viewers, it was glam. To people paying attention, it was grief dressed up as grace. What the public praised as a comeback was really the opening chapter of a slow collapse. On the surface, the night looked flawless. But replays told a colder story. Every frame from New York was slowed down, zoomed in, broken apart, no dialogue needed. The body language spoke loud. The distance wasn't about steps on a carpet. It lived in gestures. Harry's hand hung stiff at his side, fingers twitching. Each time Meghan leaned toward him, she smiled wider for the cameras. Harry blinked hard, like someone pulling inward, trying to disappear in plain sight.
Our children, Archie and Lily, are just 6 and 4 years old. Luckily, still too young for social media, but we know that day is coming.
Now, Meghan, the actress, of course, had to stick to the script. And so we had the hilarious, she's trying to talk about the need to protect children from social media, even though she's pimping out wherever she can, causing these tensions.
Body language experts didn't sugarcoat it. One analyst described Harry's posture as defensive withdrawal, the stance of someone emotionally shutting down under pressure. And once that switch flips, insiders say, there's no pretending anymore. Another expert pointed out something even more telling. Meghan's laughter landed seconds late, like a delayed cue. It looked like timing without connection, coordination without chemistry, and insiders say this pattern wasn't new at all. Weeks earlier, at a charity event hosted by Kevin Costner, Harry's irritation was visible even when cameras weren't rolling. When Meghan tried to steer the conversation, his jaw tightened hard. His stare drifted, distant and cold. The same look showed up again in New York, only sharper, heavier, and harder to ignore. Behind the scenes, whispers got louder by the hour. One stylist who worked with Meghan that night said the fitting session ended suddenly after a disagreement over her outfit. A publicist later recalled Meghan's voice echoing down the hallway, sharp and clipped, followed by a door slamming shut.
The New York Times are finally realizing, actually, his wife might be a disaster tourist, but he is a disaster when it comes to charity, especially African charity, because he doesn't actually give a damn. For years and years and years, he used Africa because it was good for his PR.
No yelling from Harry, just silence. The kind insiders say became his new default. He didn't argue anymore. He pulled back, and that withdrawal followed him straight onto the red carpet. Online, fans spotted the fracture instantly. Side-by-side photos told a different story than the captions. Harry leaned away, expression flat and guarded. Meghan leaned in, performing closeness with a camera-ready smile. Agencies tagged the shots as romantic, but longtime watchers saw something else entirely: endurance, not affection. By the end of the night, even event staff stopped calling it chemistry. One producer whispered, "It felt like watching two actors share a scene they no longer believed in." And that question hung heavy in the air. What turned partnership into performance? To find the answer, you have to rewind, not to New York, not to California, but back to Paris, where the fracture first spread. Before New York, there was Paris. It was meant to be Meghan's comeback moment.
If I know that this is a place that my husband hates because it's where he lost his mom, I'm not going to go there.
Harry usually introduces his wife, not last night. And my God, the look she shot him. It's like, you just wait till we're back at home.
Front row seats, couture gowns, luxury everywhere. The photos screamed success, but behind the flawless shots, witnesses noticed something colder. They moved through the same space like strangers. Harry kept his distance, eyes locked straight ahead. Meghan worked the room, greeting designers with her signature smile, soaking in the spotlight. To the public, it was glam. To those close enough to see, it felt like frost. Then came the moment that changed everything. Meghan's team filmed her walking through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the same location tied to Princess Diana's tragic death. Meghan smiled softly at the camera, scarf pulled tight, expression calm and intentional. When the clip went online, backlash exploded. But inside their private world, it triggered something far worse. Sources close to the couple say Harry was furious, not loud, not dramatic, but deeply shaken. This wasn't quick anger that burns out. This was heavy, quiet rage.
But I have to just say, anyone who has doubted me over the past decade about this evil woman now needs to eat some humble pie, because this video designed to mentally torture her husband.
It doesn't work for you to shoulders back, breasts out, headlights going, and try to look as bitchy as possible.
That tunnel wasn't just a place to him, it was sacred ground. For Meghan, it symbolized legacy and reflection. For Harry, it felt like a line crossed. Insiders say their argument that night was brutal. Words cut fast and deep. Harry demanded to know how his mother's tragedy could be turned into content. Meghan insisted it was harmless, even artistic. That was the moment something snapped. For years, Harry had defended her against everything and everyone. After that night, insiders say he couldn't do it anymore. The silence between them grew louder. Harry stopped shielding. Meghan stopped explaining. Their smiles became scripted. Their affection became choreography. Every appearance carefully rehearsed. Every gesture designed to hold the illusion together, even as the connection quietly slipped away. After Paris, the shift wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, slow, and unsettling. Friends say Harry didn't explode or lash out. He went quiet. The jokes faded, the warmth cooled, and the easy laughter vanished. When people asked if everything was okay, he nodded and changed the subject. That silence wasn't peace. It was retreat. Insiders noticed it first during planning meetings. Harry stopped weighing in. Where he once challenged ideas or pushed back, he now stayed neutral, eyes down, hands folded. Meghan spoke more, decided more, controlled the room. To outsiders, it looked like teamwork. To those in the room, it felt one-sided. One former advisor described it bluntly. He checked out. Not physically, but emotionally. He was present but gone. That kind of withdrawal doesn't happen overnight. It builds when someone feels unheard for too long. Public appearances followed the same pattern.
I just spoke to somebody that said their palace sources say perhaps the king would plan to meet with Prince Harry at the beginning of 2026. Meghan Markle has no desire to return to the UK because she knows how simply loathed she is.
Harry arrived early, left fast, avoided lingering conversations. Meghan stayed glowing, composed, camera ready. She leaned into the spotlight while he hovered at the edge of it. Side by side, they looked united. Frame by frame, the imbalance showed. Then came the scheduling changes. Harry began skipping optional events. He cited exhaustion, privacy, or personal time. Insiders say it wasn't burnout, it was avoidance. Each appearance felt heavier than the last. Behind closed doors, communication thinned out. Arguments didn't escalate, they stalled. Conversations ended unfinished. Harry stopped pushing for resolution. Meghan pushed forward anyway. When one person disengages and the other accelerates, the gap grows fast. Friends close to Harry say he started leaning on old routines, long walks alone, late nights up reading, time spent away from shared spaces. He wasn't plotting an exit, he was coping. Meanwhile, Meghan doubled down on precision. Every outfit planned, every appearance polished, every moment framed for impact. To her, control meant stability. To Harry, it felt like pressure. The tension showed in small moments the cameras barely caught. A pause before stepping together. A half-second delay in reactions. Smiles that didn't reach the eyes. Touches that looked practiced instead of natural. Staff noticed it too. One assistant quietly said, "They stopped moving like a unit." And once that rhythm breaks, it's hard to fake. What once felt like a partnership started to feel like parallel paths. Same destination, different pace, same image, different emotions. By the time New York happened, the cracks weren't new, they were exposed. The red carpet didn't cause the fracture, it revealed it. And the hardest truth insiders whisper now? It wasn't one argument, one moment, or one mistake. It was the slow realization that they were no longer fighting for the same thing. Harry wanted peace, Meghan wanted momentum. Both kept smiling, both kept walking. But behind the flashes and applause, the story had already changed. Not with a bang.
She's sort of very needy, isn't she? She loves to be loved. And she hates the British people, that she'll never come back to this country because she knows people don't really want her back in this country.
But with distance that grew louder every time the cameras clicked. By the time New York hit, the performance was all they had left. The laughter sounded mechanical. The eye contact felt forced. And the man standing next to her wasn't angry anymore. That phase had passed. He looked hollow, emptied out, and that's the danger no one sees coming. Not rage, not scandal, just emptiness. Because when love turns into survival, it doesn't blow up. It erodes, slowly, quietly, completely. What started in Paris didn't end in New York. It just became visible. Every story has a rhythm, and theirs had started to stutter. Like a heartbeat skipping beats. Uneven, fragile, impossible to ignore. You could hear it in the pauses between smiles. In clipped sentences whispered off camera. In silences that lingered a second too long and left a smell in the air. This wasn't a fairy tale painted in bright colors. It was brushed in shadows, cold silver flashes bouncing off a red carpet, fabric whispering past microphones, the low hum of a crowd waiting for something to crack. Every public word sounded polished, rehearsed, picture perfect. But every silence told the truth they wouldn't say out loud. Their story now sounded like half theater, half confession. Big staging, tight control, but threaded with the kind of quiet that makes you lean closer instead of pulling away, because what was breaking between them wasn't loud. It was the kind of unraveling that happens under breath. Behind closed doors, between two people who know the script too well to admit they're lost inside it. Every move became deliberate. 3 beats of tension, 1 beat of calm, every phrase cut short like neither one wanted to finish the thought. Harry's voice, slow, clipped, restrained. Meghan's, steady, but strained. Together, they sounded like dialogue from a movie already deep into its final act. And that was the secret pulse of their downfall. Not chaos, precision. A flawless image built on controlled emotions slipping out of sync frame by frame. The more you listen, the clearer it gets. Every pause, every glance, every carefully chosen word hides something more haunting than any lie. Somewhere between performance and confession, their silence spoke the loudest of all. Maybe the smiles were real once. Maybe the laughter on those early red carpets wasn't scripted yet. But somewhere between spotlight and silence, something shifted. The glances got shorter, the touches colder. What started as rebellion against the crown slowly turned into rebellion against each other. Every story has a final scene. Some end in noise, others end in nothing at all. For Harry and Meghan, it won't be a press release or a dramatic public split. It'll be the quiet ending, the slow kind. The one that happens so invisibly that one day they just stop standing side by side. Cameras move on, headlines fade. But the question lingers like an echo. Was this love ever meant to survive the fame it helped build? Because when affection becomes performance and loyalty turns into strategy, the fairy tale doesn't shatter. It dissolves, frame by frame, smile by smile. And in the silence between flashbulbs and reality, the truth waits, unseen, unspoken, unforgettable. What unfolded in New York wasn't just a moment, it was a mirror, a reflection of something Meghan had faced before. The slow fading of affection, the quiet shift from love to positioning. The patterns feel familiar, the charm, the performance, the unraveling that starts once the cameras turn away. And if you think this was the first time someone close to her felt that fracture, think again. Because before there was a prince, there was another man who saw it coming, Joe Giuliano, Meghan's first husband, the man who once promised forever and walked away before the world even knew her name. He's finally spoken. And what he revealed about why his family rejected the relationship paints a picture even more unsettling than the royal drama. His words don't just explain the distance you saw on that red carpet, they expose a pattern that's been repeating for years. If you want to understand why Harry's silence feels so final now, you have to hear from the man who lived through the first version of Meghan's story. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.